Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. In this video I would like to share with you 3 decks that are, I call them Moody, but they are, one of them especially excellent for working on various emotional initiations, let's call them, or different states of life that we go through, you know, different situations. And of course, oracle decks, as you know, all of us use them, are very great tools for navigating those times, for helping ourselves to, you know, inspire ourselves, get some perspective. It's why I use tarot decks, it's why I use oracle decks to kind of see myself, the situation I'm in, from a little bit broader perspective. So this deck was sent to me for a review. I want to say it up front. You do know that, you know, I always get decks that I want. I never take decks that, oh yeah, let me see how they are. So this is Deff Doula Oracle. It's published so beautifully. I'm very impressed with this deck. When it comes to quality, it has this nice paper. It's not slidey, but it's also not, you know, sticky like with rose petal. It's really, really beautiful. And it's gilded. It comes with quite extensive little white book. I will suggest that this book is really great for anybody who's starting with a journey of self-care, self-development, you know, like when they kind of embark on figuring out how to do things, how to do a ritual, how to work with moon phases and so on. This little booklet has a lot of information. It has sample spreads. It goes through each of the cards for like oracle divinatory meanings. It gives you ideas of how to do rituals and so on. So it's a really quite substantially packed with information, a little white book. The cards are like photographs, really. So it's a photographic deck. And as much as I'm not the biggest fan of photographic decks, being a wife of photographer, but I just wanted to show you that this deck has really interesting keywords. And I highly recommend checking the Instagram account as well. They post a lot of reels and stories when they kind of incorporate music, mood, words, and have this kind of educational videos. So how I've been using this oracle deck, I have been pulling one card from it, because as you can see, it is quite abstract, and my brain sometimes loves abstract decks. So when I read those abstract decks, I often look for light, for repetitive elements, for elements that stand out, that, for example, these two have similar type of energy to it, but this one is a little bit different, has more elements and so on. All of this would play a part in my interpretation of the cards. So sometimes I do a 3-card spread or non-spread 3-card reading with decks like this. But with this particular one, I've been usually pulling one card and reading about it in the little white book later on. But firstly, I would be just looking at the card. And how I found that this deck talks to me, it's through mood. So a lot of cards in this particular deck are quite moody. They're quite melancholic. They kind of darkish, I'd say. And they do influence a reader, you know, when you look at them, that brings something to my mind. So here, this juxtaposition of those fresh sprouting flowers and this rope, and you know, the conditions seem so unwilling or so unsupportive, and the keyword is grace. I think this deck is really, really smart. So we have all these different words and keywords like dishonesty, growth, and very interesting modern take on the art as well, which I think it's interesting because I don't own any other deck that's similar to it. And I think that's why also I like it so much, because it's interesting, it makes me think, it has an interesting keywords. I like to get lost in the art and imagine what the heck is going on here, you know. And I liked readings with this deck with adding to it, what is it called? Let me just grab this deck, just one sec. So I was using it with this Craft Decadence Oracle. I got this deck sent for a swap. I swapped with my friend Jennifer for an astrology reading, and this was part of the swap which she suggested, and I'm like so thankful she did, because I love this deck. So yeah, I was just using one card from this deck and one card from this deck, and this one has really quirky keywords. So if we go unprocessed, right, and it's distorted reflections, image illusion, psyche, paradoxes. I just love how they often, you know, were playing off one another, as it often happens, right? So sweet autarky, gentle selfishness, self-devotion, and this is remothering. How cool is that? And yeah, and that's why I kind of love these decks together. Chaotic withdrawal, truth. And this is resignated fallback and confusion and retreat. So how interesting. So yeah, these decks together, I felt like they were really, really cool. And for some reason, the Deff Doula Oracle is really spacious with art, whereas this little collage deck, you know, even the difference in sizes, seems to be giving it like an extra kick. So yeah, I really, really enjoy these two together. So this Craft Decadence Oracle is really, really cool. And then with the Deff Doula Oracle, I thought that this deck by Chris Madsen, the Three Black Moons deck, which came as, you know, it's a totally new deck, right? It's beautiful. But Chris created the Witches Tarot, and if you like this type of artwork, I thought these two go really good together as well. So we have the Void and Mask. And there's something about energy of these two decks that make me, I don't know, there's just something that works there. Heart and calcination, how interesting, because here the heart seems like, you know, it's hurt. And calcination comes with such a oomph to it when we speak about the heart. Techno-cleanse, that's a funky one, and war. But yeah, energy-wise, art-wise, there is also something that they cooperating together, and I thought they look really lovely. Just pure artistically, you know, if you look at this through an artistic lens, I thought they go together really well. So this is the Three Black Moons by Chris Madsen. And then I also thought it would go well with the Rain Shadow Tarot by Claire Mack. I also really like Claire's artwork, and I have all of her decks. So here's Thrombosis and Seven of Swords. And again, it's kind of, even though this one is also a little bit abstract, but differently, right? This is a photographic, but there is something that makes them go together in a way as well. So Four of Swords and Drift, Disruption, and this Five of Pentacles, Art, Nine of Swords. Yeah, I'm curious which, you know, what decks would you connect with it, but this could be pretty cool too. Oh, look at the, like, just the imagery itself. Eight of Wands and Beauty in Death. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that would be the Rain Shadow Tarot. And there's two more decks that I thought would work with this Oracle deck, but I haven't even used them yet. I was just grabbing the Decadence, the Craft Decadence Oracle, and I thought, oh, maybe Deff Doula would work well with the Dream Dust Shamanic Tarot, because it's also an abstract deck. So let's just take a look together. So these are also an interesting images. Abyssal Plane and Fire Sprite. And I'm curious if this would work. It's just somehow like some of the cards, the energy is really similar. Well, the Access the Dark, here we have the Sun, so it seems like a, total opposition. Pleasure and the Lovers. Ooh. True Will and the Fire Goddess. That's pretty cool. Nine of Fire and Fear. So sometimes it seems like they're embracing the positive or giving encouragement, as Nine of Fire is like courage and perseverance. It's like Nine of Wands. But there is also, it seems like it can be fear involved there. And especially when we start building, walls around us based on what has happened to us before. And there's one more deck that I wanted to check before we run out of cards from the Deff Doula Oracle, and I thought the Abyssal Tarot, and I very rarely use it. I can actually say I don't use it, but I cannot get rid of it because it's just such a unique deck. All the images of this deck were taken underwater. It's also a photographic deck. So here we have a Ritual and Empress. I don't know, Wisdom and High Priestess. It's pretty cool. I like this little clouds-like, and this, yeah, just kind of symmetrical. Let's see a couple more. Tower and Wayfinding, that's cool. Yeah, I think that would go actually. Sun and Judgment. This deck is very strange, the Abyssal Tarot. It's not for like your regular reading. Formlessness and Star. Oh, that's beautiful. But I think artistically, again, it goes really well. And reading wise, I'm finding this one hard to read. It's just for very specific issues that I would use this deck, mostly only for myself. New Narrative. So sometimes for sexual issues, sometimes for fear, and sometimes for dream work. Conjure and Temperance. That's nice. So yeah, it's I love this card, Wheel of Fortune and the Grove. So this is how I kind of was working with the Deff Doula Oracle until now. I mostly really loved the combo of how I used it with the Craft Decadence Oracle, and I like sitting with one card at a time from this deck. But I noticed now when I was doing the, just to give you a, comparison between of the size, the cards are quite large. So this is the regular tarot deck, and this is the Deff Doula Oracle. As you can see, it's really beautiful. It has this nice sound when it shuffles, just like Spolia Tarot does. And I think I'm going to try next the 3 card readings, just because just to stretch my mind, like this, for example, seems like a totally kind of 3 unrelated cards based on artwork. The keywords we have: the Void, Surrender, and Angel of Incidents. I love some of the words that they used. So if we want to just look at the booklet, in the beginning here, they have listed all the keywords. So if we go to V, it's alphabetical, and we can see the Void. The book says meditative tipping point, transcending, letting one's identity sleep so far beyond their mind that they find it again but whole. If this card is pulled, it may indicate one's ego is obstructing their view. And then there's more description, and then you can also go to see formlessness meditation and deaf vision meditation. And to be honest, some of these meditations and rituals that they suggest are not just for the beginners. Some of them are really cool. There's journaling prompts, there's ritual suggestions. It's really interesting. So then we would have surrender, and then we will have angel of incident. But definitely what I keep kind of getting out of it, the void and surrender speak about something which is interesting and which I experienced sorry, which I experienced during my last Sacred Postures Shamanic Journey class with Belinda Gore. We were journeying with this lady of Cholula. And in my journey, actually, I was like walking in between her legs, and this part of her clothing just lifted up, and I walked into the void. And you did have to surrender and trust to, you know, to keep walking, and to trust that out of the void, out of this kind of blackness and darkness, something will eventuate. And I like how this little bit of color goes through this like kind of mark of, you know, the branches. You can't really see exactly what's going on, but it's a little bit lighter than the first card. And then you have that angel of incidents, where there's this burst of colors and what seems a little bit like a veil that starts really putting, like, I feel like it's transporting you into a more formed reality. But I'm really curious now to see what the angel of incidents is. That's really cool. Angel of incidents. Find the beauty in what blocks your light. The earth blocks the sun on a lunar eclipse, which is tomorrow. Oh no, 25th of March, sorry. Tomorrow is the spring equinox for us. And in turn, we are what blocks the light from reaching the surface of the moon. So here we go. I want to start to maybe see, like, practice for myself, just for fun, you know, and try to connect those 3 abstract cards. I do have a class, if you're interested of checking it out, of how to read unusual decks, what to look for when you want to connect the cards. You can take a look at this. It's in the description down below, or also if you just go to Tarot Map website into classes, you can check it out. But yeah, Deff Doula Oracle, definitely interesting deck. If the artwork is, you know, your cup of tea, you can check it out. It's a little bit different, very modern, beautiful, quiet, kind of nice deck. All right, so I speak to you another time. Thank you for watching. Bye.